Cool. To start things off, by the way, this is a double Zerg, double Terran group. We will be doing our mirror matchups first off. So we will get one TBT, one ZVZ, and then we'll have two TVZs, and who knows what the last matchup is going to be. No one knows. But we do have Cuddle Bear on Team Rival, which is a fantastic ID, I have to say.
I
Out of
love
all
that
IDs,
ID.
it's one of my favorites, for sure.
So, Cuddle Bear versus Dolan. We've seen Dolan play quite a bit in the rival weeklies as well. I'll be interested to see how these two play it out because I've seen both of them play, but I don't think I've ever seen them play each other.
Yep. Team Ascension Pro versus Team Rival. Try not to be too biased, Koshkii. Your team rivalness.
I will do my best.
But yeah, so TVT, Total Madness. Just cast a lot of TVT. It's going to be a really great time. A lot of Reaper action. Interested to see how these two players feel about their Reaper control and what they're going to be doing as far as that is concerned. A lot of maps are pretty Reaper heavy, Reaper strong right now. We got Orbital Shipyard, which is quite good. Prion Terraces as well. And then, of course, Central Protocol with the very large distance between the main and natural. I think it's actually become even stronger for Reapers with the change because you can't break down your back rocks anymore. So now it's even more surface area for the Reaper to jump, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, a bit of frustrations. We'll have to see. First map will be Laralac Crest. So, a lot of different options here, but the Reaper, the aggressive Reaper, the multi-Reaper play in beginning of the game, a little bit less likely. Drops those super strong, and a lot is going to depend on those spawning positions. It is a rotationally symmetric map, so as a result, if you don't get cross spawn, someone oftentimes has a better drop position against the other one. One of the very few advantages you can get from spawning positions in a mirror matchup, as things are very, very mirrored, and it usually comes down to strategy choice and control, things like that. But we are loading into our game.
A lot of times you do see those TVT games decided by just those small little differences in control.
Yep. And the game of chicken of the tank of axe as well. Who's gonna drop them first? Whoa! Gets a little crazy. Making sure you drop your tanks first. Very important because that means you get the first volley off, which can mean life and death for your Marines and tanks. Tank of Axe Marine is the most common strategy, so we'll see if any of these players choose to deviate. And we finally have our match underway, spawning in the top right-hand corner of our screen. It's the Green Terran, Team Rivals, Cuddle Bear.
And his opponent, our Purple Terran, representing Team Ascension Pro. It is Dolan.
Koshkii, are you familiar with B Dolan?
The Dolan?
B.
B
letter
Dolan.
B, period, and then Dolan.
I don't believe so.
Cool. So he's an independent hip-hop artist, and that's all that I can think of when I see Dolan. I'm just like, oh! All the songs of his running through into my head. Super awesome. People of the chat, go check out B, period, space, Dolan. And listen to it whenever you watch the Dolan games because it's appropriate.
You know, I totally will be, but look at this from Dolan already.
Yep. Double racks. Double racks Reaper. In the meantime, we do have a faster double gas for Cuddle Bear, so most likely moving up the tech tree fast. And he'll have the advantage of getting those Hellions out a bit faster to defend the early Reaper aggression. Cross spawns are going to be pretty good in this scenario. Give Cuddle Bear a little bit more time. But again, a lot of this has to do with the control, landing the Reaper bombs, utilizing movement prediction and space control to sort of gain your edges in this early game TBT.
Yeah, we'll see how our players handle their micro once these Reapers are out. That quicker factory from Cuddle Bear now as well. Dolan, though, will probably scout that with his Reapers. The question is, How soon will he catch that? And will he be
Ooh,
prepared for the follow-up?
3 racks too. He's like very, very aggressive. You can go 2 racks and oh my God, is this SCV really gonna? Oh
Oh.
man, that was so close.
Yeah, looking at the vision there. Oh, yeah, nothing was seen.
Just
Only the
barely.
one barracks.
And we do have the Reaper out in the front. Unfortunately for Dolan, he's gonna be scouting last, looks like. So he's gonna go over here. Excuse me, second. Scouting second. Be coming into the cross spawns next. It's a bit unfortunate. It's gonna increase the time and a bit of the defender's advantage. We will have 2 Reaper versus 2 Reaper for about 10 to 15 seconds. And oh, getting the first shots off. This is pretty huge. Oh my God.
That Reaper,
that
it's
Reaper's
still
gonna
so
heal,
close.
isn't it?
Oh, it will get away.
Very nicely done there, using a Reaper bomb to pull back here. The Hellion is going to help immensely with this, but getting that Hellion count and Reaper count up, pretty critical. Going into a medevac here, so feels that he can hold this Reaper attack with the Hellion Reaper plus the medevac, not needing any sort of assistance from Banshee, Liberator, anything like that. Nice bit of splash damage starting things off here. And, oh, man, back and forth action going on, dodging the Reaper bombs. They both seem to be racing on the same screen across the map.
Both players doing pretty well with their micro here. Dolan's Reaper micro saving those Reapers from death, but...
Oh, they're all lined up! They're all lined up!
No.
Oh, my God! Oh, lots of kills here from these Hellions, but in the end, Dolan comes out on top.
3 Reapers still alive. 3 Reapers coming over now for Dolan. And now Cuddle Bear, he doesn't have too much. He's got 1 Reaper. He's getting out a tank and a Liberator. But, you know, Reapers, they're pretty quick. They can move around Liberation zones with not too much of a problem.
Yep, it's going to be difficult to hold this base over here, and that's kind of the advantage that Dolan gets. With getting the map control, he's allowed to secure his expansion a little bit faster. And tank Liberator, starting to get those heavy gas units. With this kind of Reaper setup, though, you can actually take out tanks as long as you're in tank mode and as long as you sort of throw the bombs at the right time in the right place. But tank evac, that's a totally different story. That's a different unit.
Definitely. The Liberator moving out to try and do some harass. Trying to get back in here for Cuddle Bear.
So far behind. This is what happens when you open up 3 racks Reaper. You get that slower factory, the slower starport, and so this Liberator is going to have a bit of time here to deal out the damages. It looks like these Marines getting into pretty high numbers, but I think there's a couple of spots that they'll be able to get into with this Liberator that could do quite well. Massive Reapers still hanging out here in the front, securing map control, and with these siege tanks getting in position, Cuddle Bear should be able to get that 3rd back up. He had to cancel the first one, didn't lift it, but canceled it, so a bit unfortunate there. He is trying to come back by building 2 at a time. He will be taking his 3rd and his natural at almost the same time here.
And Cuddle Bear again moving out of the map, on the map, while this Liberator is getting set up. But it looks like it will be taken out here by the Marines.
Managed to get 8 kills, 4 of which were Marines, 4 of which were SCVs. Nice job overall. And these Reapers moving out. Tank evac, very strong here. Gonna be moving this siege tank into position.
Viking providing that high ground vision there.
Yep. As many of you know, the siege tank shoots farther than it can see, so having air control in this kind of situation, very important. Viking versus Viking. Oh, and Dolan gets the first shot off. That's very important. This is going to trigger a huge attack from all angles.
Ooh.
Giant concave over here. The Reaper bomb's actually hurting Dolan's SCVs.
And the Viking goes down, too.
5 SCVs killed. Oh, my God. Oh, is he going to get 4 shots off? Oh, it looks like 6 SCVs only, but at great cost to Cuddle Bear. Meantime, though, he's finished up both of his command centers, one of which he's turned into an orbital command. He's had a bit of a hard time spending his money while microing that hard, so unfortunately, he's got a bit of a bank. Does spend it now, and will be getting himself Oh my god, he is so not supplyable. I was like, he's building a supply depot right now. It's like 47 out of 93. It's like, oh my god.
Oh, and this tank, though, right out of position in the middle of the map. Dolan's just moving across. He'll take out this tank. And Cuddlebear, you know, he doesn't have too much. The army supply favors Dolan here, 35 to 15.
Yep. See that tracking turret working on the tank there. It can pull back while keeping aim on the other unit, and that allows it basically to be saved against that Reaper. Otherwise, it would be dead. Small change in Legacy of the Void leads to Cuddlebear's living tank, and that doubles his tank count. Pretty important to be defending this attack, and looks like Dolan's gonna turn around for at least a little bit. But he's got quite the army here.
Yeah, he does.
Not sure how easy this is gonna be for the defense. Nice scan, really important here. Cuddlebear recognizing what's going on. He says, "Okay, my opponent's on 2 base. I have to be really defensive here." Wouldn't be surprised if he decides to throw down a bunker or something like that. Can be a bit difficult when your opponent has a high siege tank count, but it looks like Dolan's going home, and I think this is, I don't know, it's sort of, you don't expect your opponent to have 3 CC this quickly in that kind of a scenario, and I think the gamble of going double CC is paying off here for Cuddlebear. Gets not scouted by Dolan, and Dolan has no idea that he's so far behind, his opponent's so far behind in units because he didn't invest in that earlier expansion. Scanning now, seeing almost nothing to defend.
Yeah, going for it.
Across the map, but that delay might be enough to allow Cuddlebear to get into position. I wonder if he'll suspect this early third base. Hopefully doesn't see any of those transfers for the sake of Cuddlebear. Gonna be moving across here. Very nice position. Weak Viking, though. As far as arrow control goes, it's going to be in favor of Cuddlebear as long as he's paying attention, but... Ooh,
Dolan, he's going for the rocks. I think he has a feeling that there is a third over here. Might be able to check with that Viking and see that supply depot.
Yep, seeing the supply depot now, yep, and that triggers it. And he's going to have to get in position. Tank-evac drop, moving in right away. Oh, looks like, he takes out the medevac. Both tanks are going to go down, and the medevac and the Viking. Oh my god, but he sieges up really far away.
Still looking pretty scary here for Cuddlebear. However, he does have 4 tanks on the high ground. Marines moving up too. Cuddlebear playing this, you know, he's not panicking too much, even though his third has just been lost.
Oh my god. Those siege tanks, he had such a better army, but he did engage with it all at once. And as a result, got totally crushed there, lost his CC. So unfortunate. Had these 4 tanks been in this position earlier, he would be in such a huge lead right now. But as it is, loses the orbital command. Oh my god.
Dolan again moving across the map, but so is Cuddlebear. And I think at this point, Cuddlebear might be a little bothered with losing his third. Do you think he's just going to completely go for it now?
Yeah, it's possible. He's rebuilding his third CC. His third CC is still ahead of his opponents. But I don't think he has the army supply to take this right now.
Yeah, right now.
He had some kind of an advantage, like a tank lead or something. I'd be like, yeah, maybe he can do it, but
it's looking pretty iffy
now. With a tank-evac, you can just, even if you have a really good position, it can be like bum rush basically so easily by the tank-evac that it's a lot less important. Oh, loses the high ground vision of that tank and loses a tank because of it on the left side. Very important over here. Oh my god, the unsieged tank of Cuddlebear coming in and taking out the siege tanks of his opponent. Excellently done. That's fantastic. Little known fact about siege tanks, they actually have more DPS against armored in tank mode than they do in siege mode. As long as you're shooting at a single target, it's actually better to have them in tank mode.
I actually did not know that, I'll admit.
Well, you know, my job in Cats of StarCraft is to bring out small, tiny bits of trivia that occasionally are useful. So I'm glad I was able to do my job today here on this cast.
Got Dolan again at home. He has not landed his third yet.
Scanning. What? Did he scan the scan? Oh, man, I heard you like scan, so I scanned your
yeah.
scan. You can scan while you're scanning. Oh, man.
Cuddlebear landing his third again, trying to get some more mining out of there. It's still quicker than Dolan's, as you mentioned before.
Yeah. So he is going to have a bit of economic lead. And he's got such a huge gas bank. If he can just find a way to spend this,
Oh yeah.
especially into JaKaTaK, he's going to be in a great spot. But he's having a really difficult time, and he's getting out upgraded by Dolan in a major way, which is so weird because he's the one with the gas bank. He just doesn't have enough minerals to spend his gas. Sort of weird idea, but the spending gas costs minerals in a way.
We just now have the 2-2 starting here from Cuddle Bear, but Dolan's is going to finish much, much more sooner.
Yep. If he can engage, though, while it's still 1-1, sort of mitigate that disadvantage. We'll see. He does have the better economy at the moment. He can keep this up. Make sure he can finish this engagement for the 2-2 of Dolan finishes. Gonna be in a nice spot, but it's looking like the slow no man's land in the middle there. No one wanting to move in too quickly. And Dolan very likely waiting for his 2-2 to finish before making...
Yeah.
He's got his whole army in medevacs right now. This is when, like, I'm just, like, sitting here thinking about parasitic bombs and... But alas, TVT. Only a Viking fleet could dish out that much damage that quickly. But we're not going to see any of that at all. Just all JaKaTaK Marine here. Oh, big drop going into the third. And in the meantime, does get scouted by the sensor tower. Very important. He's going to evacuate. Oh my god, excellent play here. Mitigates a lot of the damage. However, drops his siege tanks in front of his Marines, and they all get blasted into pieces. It's 6 siege tanks versus 1. Oh my god, Dolan in an amazing advantage right now. A bit of harassment goes down. And by a bit, I mean, oh my god, 18 dead workers on the other side. Oh man, that's fantastic. Does get the neck snapped of his medevac. Unfortunate, but keeping his workers alive, maybe the one thing he needed. He's mined out in his main. He's also mained out in his mine, so watch out for that. But he's mined out in his main, so he can lift off and get over here with a superior worker count. Could make a bit of an advantage, as long as he can deal with this. But the problem is the army for Dolan is just so much stronger than Cuddle Bear right now.
It's nearly twice as big here. I mean, 89 to 49. That's going to be so tough for Cuddle Bear to deal with.
Who takes out a medevac? Take what you can get. That Viking, hero Viking, getting stuff done here. 4 kills. Can only be medevacs.
2-2 done for both players now.
Yep, and actually the Dolan's gonna have +1 vehicle weapons coming up here, but +1 vehicle weapons already finished for Cuddle Bear. And here we are. Making moves. Some nice tank shots go off right in the beginning, but there's just so much Dolan here that I don't think that Cuddle Bear can survive this. He's going to get a nice position on the top. Yeah, that's it.
GG.
Excellently played by Dolan.
Yeah, very well played by Dolan. You know, he didn't go for... You know, he didn't overextend. He just did the damage he could and then would go back and then kind of back and forth like that. I thought it was... some good decision making there from Dolan.
Sorry about that. A little bit of management going on off to this side. Does happen on occasion. But here we are. First game. That was the first game, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay, good. That was one of... I've been having a lot of short games today, so it's like, whoa, all right. Yeah, that's one game. It's like a solid game length going on there. So really cool stuff. We're going to have the second game coming up next. Can Cuddle Bear, the most adorably named semi-professional gamer on the earth, push into a victory here? He's going to need to win 2 in a row. Dolan, though, very commanding performance there. I got to say, though, I think Cuddle Bear in that game made this critical mistake where he had a huge army advantage, and he sieged up his 4 tanks on the high ground early. And they were not part of that fight at all. Could have saved his orbital command, could have won that battle, I think, straight up, if he had been able to get to siege mode a little bit earlier.
I agree.
Not even earlier, actually later, if he just moved closer, but just sieging out of range. Very unfortunate scenario there.
Looks like players are ready. Our next map, Orbital Shipyard, being loaded up now.
Orbital Shipyard.